So my name is Dr. Maeve O'Sullivan from the University of Galway, and on behalf of myself as DigiNet Working Group 5 leader and Professor Matt Flynn, Working Group 2 leader of DigiNet, we want to warmly welcome you to today's seminar. We're absolutely delighted to be joined by such a large group of people, and particularly by our DigiNet chair, Professor Martina Rastikova. So we're really grateful to our DigiNet colleagues and to colleagues from around Europe who have joined us. Martina, would you like to say a hello or anything? You don't have to. This is unscripted, but we would welcome a word from you.
Thanks so much, Maeve, and thanks so much, Matt. It's really great to see all of you, even at least online. And I'm really happy that this workshop is happening today, because I think that this is a great platform for all of us to meet in our cozy homes or offices and discuss a really intriguing topic. So I'm very much looking forward to hear the keynote speakers and speeches, and I'm looking forward to meet all of you in Brno in June 2026. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Martina. And sincere thanks to Matt, who did a lot of the organizing, and to Iris Finger, our DigiNet manager, who...
I just want to say I'm here too, so thank you so much. And I sent a lot of messages, and thank you for everybody to join. So I wish you a very good webinar.
Thank you. Thank you, Iris, and thank you for all your help to get this up and running. So just to perhaps tell you a little bit about our two speakers first, and to tell you about how we will arrange today. We have two excellent speakers who will speak for approximately 15 minutes. They will present on the topics. I'll explain those in just a moment. After each presentation, we will have approximately 15 minutes for a question and answer period, and we really welcome any questions, and the two speakers would be very grateful to receive some questions. I know I'll have a few, and we look forward to lots of questions. After that, Matt is just going to touch on a special issue proposal for human relations, which is a 4-star ABS journal, which we in DigiNet are putting together, and Matt will talk about that a little bit as well. And we welcome any questions that you may have as well. So let me first introduce our excellent speakers, and we're very excited to have two colleagues joining us today, Dr. Aleksandar Kovacevic and Dr. Dolantina Hyka. So Aleksander will start off first. Aleksander is a research associate at the University of Belgrade, at the Faculty of Political Sciences, in the field of public administration and public policy. Aleksander is also a teacher at master's and doctoral degree levels in the field of public services, public policy analysis, and implementation of ICT in the public sector. His presentation today, the title of which is Labour Digitalisation and Older Workers in the Gig Economy Towards a New Labour Policy Through Collective Bargaining and Social Dialogue in Serbia. And I will introduce Dolantina a little bit more at the start of her presentation. So Aleksander, if perhaps you could share the slides, that would be terrific.
Yes.
And I will keep you to time, Aleksander. I'll give you a 2-minute warning and then a 1-minute warning. Is that okay?
Okay. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Just possible to put, yes, it is better to put on full screen. Yes. I come from the Faculty of Political Science from Belgrade, and my field is public administration and public policy. I do PhD thesis about digitalization and labor policy, and the reform of labor policy and inclusion of different social actors in this particular field. And I start this presentation. This is some spread of my previous research about the digitalization and labor policy in Europe and especially in Serbia. In introduction, I discuss about the rise of the gig economy and labor digitalization that have a huge impact on how work is organized. And what I will try to find out about the position of the all digital workers, but especially the position of the older digital workers. That is not a part of my previous research. That because of this DigiNet, I decide to include the older workers in this in its particular position in my research, and I try to find answer, does ageism exist on digital platform, and start with the research question: what effect does the labor digitalization have on the responsibility of older workers in the gig economy, and what options are there for their engagement in social dialogue and collective bargaining? In the at the beginning of paper, I choose the different definition of labor digitalization, and I try to describe this from the field of field of job creation, job change, and job extraction and job shift, and in particular focus on job shift, that is the work on digital platforms. I discuss in my paper about two type of digital work. The first one is web-based work that I call the work on global digital platforms, and the second one is the location-based work on local digital platforms. The world famous platforms such as Glovo, Uber, and in first place the famous platforms such Upwork, Freelancer, Guru, and so on. I also use three different approach from legal theory, from economic theory, from my field from field of public policy. What legal theory offer? A new legal definition of worker focusing on ending false self-employment and establishing contractual employment relationship. The economic theory is focused on relation between supply and demand for digital workers, but from public policy field, we try to redefine the sectoral policy, labor policy to new condition on digital platforms. And also, I try to understand what is social dialogue as tool for spreading democracy or one of instrument of public policy, which is my point of view in my presentation, what I want, how to explain what is the social dialogue. I also discuss about the types of social dialogue, such tripartite, bipartite, and so on, and also the collective bargaining as the one of the also important thing in topic in this field. From public policy research approach, first of all, I define labor digitalization or status of digital workers, a specific situation that public perceives to be unacceptable and that therefore require some intervention. From from my point of view, I belong to scholars who try to be more practical to explain theory in practice, how theory function in practice, and to offer the practical solution. So I try to be focused on the job shift, and first of all, and start with creation of comprehensive sectoral policy is necessary for solving the problem encountered by platform workers. I also defined some different actors and stakeholders, and for this, how I try to explain from methodology, from public policy methodology, this how to well defined and well structured, how to have well structured problem. But what is with the older workers? This digitalization is also a phenomenon for older workers. It can either shorten or extend working life, depending on level of digital skills. Work environment as decisive factor. Employers' attitudes, trainings, opportunities, teleworking, and ICT implementation determine whether digitalization is seen as chance or barrier. Strong influence of national context and lack of theory and analysis of inequalities. So future studies need to be focused on social inequalities and gender difference in digitalized work. But what is the practical implication for employers and policymakers? So digitalization brings opportunities that can be harnessed to extend working lives. Also, we can discuss about blended work that is expected to positively influence the extension of employment, provided that is designed to ensure the proper person job fit to all the workers. Also, the crucial topics are comfort, autonomy, and flexibility. In context of population aging, the related policy objective to live longer, work longer, blended work represents a timely and socially relevant form of work with the potential to prolong careers. But we need to have a clear empirical studies to validate this theoretical proposition. So we lack of studies about the position of all the workers and digital economy. Who are digital worker by age? This is the one research from UK, from Hertfordshire Business School, crowdwork survey. As you can see, the lot of people from this is the position of all the workers, 4% in Netherlands and so on. This is if we use this last two category. If we only use the last category, this is also the lot of people who participate in digital labor. Gig economy as promising way to increase labor supply of older workers. So this is my proposition, but it is a wage gap between older and younger workers. Older, and especially we discuss about local gig platforms. So local older drivers earn less because they work more in suburbs with lower demand than in city center. Older drivers earn less as they are less adept with the application and passenger handling. In traditional jobs, earning rise with the age, while Uber earnings stay flat until the 14 and they steadily decline. Gig economy is pay-per-productive model challenge of all the workers through high-skill freelancing may show less earning decline with age. So we can decide that in the gig economy there is decline, there is gender gap, there is a gap from the older and younger worker and earnings. What is situation in Serbia? We have in Serbia two type of platforms. The first of all, we have the big gig platforms that well-educated workers from IT sector that are successfully positioned in the global market. In our research center, Public Policy Center for Belgrade, construct the first instrument to called gig method to describe the digital geography in Serbia. But what we can conclude for this instrument, a great number of men compared to women, a great concentration of men in better paid job that is about the global digital platforms, a high earnings of men, a great tendency of women to use digital work as additional source of income. But what we don't include in this, we don't include the position of older workers. So we are lack of study about the position of older workers in this field. Mostly men left the digital labor market, while the share of women increased slightly. Also, as I said earlier, absence of research or participation of older population in platform work in Serbia. This is by age, and this is why this is the and by age the education employment status. And what is the main characteristic? Non-standard form employment, attractive for younger population, precarious, labor force are mostly men, gender gap, less paid job with higher education, and absence of employment center. And what also we can conclude for this, there is a lack of research about the position of older workers. This is for my questionnaire from my PhD thesis about the education, gender, and years. And as you can see, the 24% are older population in gig economy. This is data from 2022, I think. But what is about I will discuss about global digital platforms in Serbia. This is the position that you see. The leading platform is Upwork in Serbia and also in our region. This is the number of gig workers in our region. As you can see, the North Macedonia at the first place, the second place are Serbia, and you can see the 185.4 digital workers per 100,000 of inhabitants in Serbia. This is about the occupation, and you can see that there is a that I explain as a gender gap, and also there we can see the and gig platforms that we have a lot of women in a lot of men in better paid jobs, so there is a gender gap in earnings in Serbia. And the second part is location-based labor. This is a fair work principle, and this in this location-based we have some data about the position of all the workers. They said that is the location-based platforms are more attractive for. In research, they say that the location-based platforms are more attractive for the people who during the transition and the privatization and the restructuring of our economy after the democratic change at the beginning of this century, they decide to be a part of this new digital labor market. But also, I put the question from my point of view: is there decent work on local digital platform? This research says that is not decent work because they they don't offer the fair condition and fair payment for and fair representation and other fair contracts for all digital workers. There is need for broader consensus on the key issue that future regulation should cover, how this consensus could be achieved, and what is my proposal. This is the fair work principle. I send the presentation so you, because I don't have a lot of time, I want to say everything, so I'll skip this. I also as labor in era of digitalization could be explained as continuous process from pre-industrial to post-industrial understanding, the right to disconnect as emerging human right, initiative for improving labor condition in digital age is present. Also, the best solution for social dialogue is the best example Italy and France. This is the most fruitful model and role of they explain also different roles of actor and stakeholders. And this is the initiative in EU member states and EU member states and United Kingdom. This is about the initiative of a collective agreement, trade union, platform working association, and other association that is recorded or not recorded in this last 5 years, I think. This is about where they have and where they have. Also, we can discuss about all these different initiatives. There's a lot of initiative about this, but they are different, of course. But this is the discussion for maybe for 1 or 2 hours for all this initiative. But what we have in Serbia, we have also the initiative from trade unions in promoting fair platform workers. How to represent unrepresented is the question that put on traditional trade unions. And now what we have in our legal reform, what we do, how it started the legal reforms. This is the reforms is about global platforms. The tax administration asked commercial bank to provide reports on foreign current transaction in personal accounts from January to October, from January 2016 to October 2020. The article, this is about they need to give information about the income of those who receive monies from foreign firms or foreign citizens. But this is the situation that is directly to the Serbian gig workers, because they also initiate some protests demanding the fair taxation. That is the first topic of policy, to have fair taxation, policy. This is the taxation of gig workers as public issue, triggering the public policy cycle. The first proposal from the solution is to establish 5-year to writing off the interest of established 5-year debt, introducing a non-taxable monthly amount. This is amount approximately 215 euros, increasing standard from 20% to 43%, and repaying the remaining of debt in monthly installments over the next 10 years. But this proposal is rejected. The second one that is approved, the change of current law of citizen income tax, which means that gig workers' income would be treated as copyright income, allowing for standard expenses for 15% and tax-free amount about this is about 3,000 euros per each year. That is, the proposal was approved. But what is happening during the policy implementation? They realized that...
Aleksander, sorry to interrupt you. You have 2 minutes left.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I tried to finish. We have they saw that is not a very good solution for both of them, from tax authority and also from the gig workers, and they decide to have to offer two different models. This is the fixed standardized expense with a smaller amount, and they for first time they get the some employment right for the first time in Serbia. But what we also present here, there is no anything about the position of all the workers, no the early regulation. But during the adoption, they adopt this new form of new tool model, but they recognize that problems of digital worker remain unsolved and suggest forming a working group which achieve few results, or which not have any result, because they have not meetings, they don't have any meetings about the position of what is about during the policy evaluation, what is the income, and as you can see, they send the application for the taxes. The government receives the 3 million euros from this for taxation, but almost there is also only 2,600 of digital works, but conservative proportion is 7,400 of digital workers. What we have new we have to this is taxation economy is reasonable, but they have some benefits. But the stakeholders did not see all possible policy options, and they choose to implement quick and popular solution to satisfy the interests of both sides. Wrong classification under the copyright and related rights. So we need comprehensive policy that requires the change across the entire economic, social, and legal framework. And also we have new policy that can include the they offer the answers to challenging series of law regarding competition, protection, and law of artificial intelligence, electronic commerce, changing definition of employees, granting full access to employment rights with emphasis on collective bargaining and social dialogue, and adoption of new regulation, flexible employment relationship with special emphasis on older worker rights. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Aleksander. That was a whistle-stop tour of a terrific piece of research. And thank you very much for presenting that. There's a lot of relevant information and data, I think, for those of us researching digitalization. Sorry, and older workers. So I want to open this up to the floor. Have we any questions or observations for Aleksander? Gabriela, good afternoon.
Hello. Thank you very much, Aleksander, for your presentation. It's very interesting because you don't have so much data about your country, about Serbia. I'm from Romania, so we're close. I want to ask what do you understand by old worker, especially in your country? And what is the situation of labor market in your country in terms of jobs or opportunity for this category of population, old worker? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can I write down all question or answer on how we can do?
So, Aleksander, if you could perhaps address Gabriela's question now, and then we can move on to the next one.
We can choose this type of answer. So, thank you, Gabriela, for your question. And what is the situation? Who is all the workers in Serbia? Is the first question. This is very because as you know, as we become the older population in our country, so we have a lot of issue with young workers at the first place, but also during the privatization, during the economic restructuring after the wars and after the ending of former Yugoslavia, we have a lot of, as we are the former socialistic republic with big public sector, we have a lot of firms and fabrics that are closed, and the most of people they belong from, they have only in that period maybe about 45 years, 50, they don't have jobs anymore, and they go to have some different issue about they have issues in the first time about they also their labor status at first, and also they have lot of social and economic issues because they don't have any earnings, and they some of them decide to participate in digital labor market. For those who are well educated and who are from the field of information technology, they decide to participate in this type of global digital platforms. But the most of them eventually participate in the local digital platforms. They work as cargo on Serbia Uber drivers. They work as I don't know, as for Volt, Glovo, and this is the not so good paid job for them, and they unfortunately there is only solution for those who have some years, and they only solution because they in South Serbia they can go to retirement after 65 years, so they need still to wait. They is not very easy for them to find a job. I have the situation in my family because my mother was worked for some gigant in chemical industry, and when the gigant collapsed, she tried to find a job, and now she is at the 1 year before the retirement, but she didn't participate in gig economy, but she is very hard for her to find a job, and also for older people. Also for our colleagues for my colleagues from Romania, we do research about the position of older taxi drivers and Uber drivers in Romania and Serbia, and as we decided in my interviews that I give to my to give to all the workers in Serbia, all the taxi drivers. They said that digitalization and work with digital application is very good solution for them. So they try to participate at digital labor market and to use the benefits of digital application. But it's about the labor policy in Serbia, and there are some programs from government, from the local for local communities about how to employ the all the workers. But as you see, that maybe for them, maybe for those who have 2 or 3 years before retirement, maybe there is some better solution because the government offers the money for to support the employers. But some of them decide to participate on digital labor market, and my final conclusion for this that we need some comprehensive policy for this, and we need in the first place we need some comprehensive research about their position.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Alexander, and thank you, Gabriela, for the question. I think the next question we have is from Matt, and then we have one from Sarmite.
Thank you for the really interesting presentation. I've got a colleague, Elizabeth Cotton, who has done some work on people who provide therapy online. And one of the aspects that she's looking at is the organization of workers in the field as well. And I'll put you into contact with her. You mentioned in one of your slides that the UK has trade unions representing digital workers, but doesn't have collective agreements on the subject. And of course, in the UK, we don't have collective agreements across organizations except in the public sector. But in the private sector, they're not a feature of industrial relations here. Trade unions primarily operate, as you know, as agents for workers in the UK. And when it comes to digitalization, unions find it very difficult because digital workers are notoriously difficult to organize. They're spread out all over the country. They're not, they're usually not in any one physical location. And unions are looking for other ways to ensure that their members get the best deal when it comes to work, when it comes to their pay, and so forth. And one of those ways is using digital platforms so that you can facilitate some communication and some exchange of information between workers. And as I understand, that's a lot of what Elizabeth's work is all about. So, for example, if you're a digital therapist and you have questions about how you're being remunerated for your time, or questions about the platform or so forth, you've got a digital platform to provide to ask the questions and to provide the information that you might need. You mentioned a couple of digital platforms in Serbia, and I was wondering if you could just maybe say a few words about that.
About the digital platforms in Serbia. At the global digital markets, the most famous platform is Upwork. So the gig workers from Serbia works at Upwork. And in my book about digitalization and labor policy reforms in Serbia, I have case study about this platform. I cannot time to present this. I don't have time to present this during this presentation, but I can, if somebody interested in this case study, I can send. This is in Serbia, but I can translate to English to understand what is about the Upwork, the case study about Upwork in Serbia. At the local level, what I call local level, because the platforms are location based. So they offer the jobs and the services to citizens and employees at local level. So we can see there's some world famous platforms such as Glovo and Volt, and here some Serbian variant of this platform, some called Mr. D. We have also the platforms work in Serbia we say uradi, zaradi, work and earn. This is how we can translate this. This is about the housing, helping in cleaning houses. But this platform they terminate they existing, I think. And we have also the platform Cargo. This is the Serbian variant of Uber. They don't operate very well in Belgrade. They have a lot of issues during the operation. Also for the legal term, there is also the protest against them from the traditional taxi industry, because they think that they disturbing taxi medallion capitalism. And what we also have in Serbia, we have also one some kind of taxi service called Yandex that is come from Russia. And this is what we have for about the digital platforms. Also, our digital workers will be affected from the recent law changing in America, because as you can maybe if you read in news that last week the USA government decided to give to have some taxation for foreign employees, for foreign gig workers. So the gig workers will be affected for this. Also, this is the famous phrase of outsourcing of work. And also our digital workers outsource their work to third countries. They have they earn less. But the crucial why people want to participate in digital platforms, because they get better earnings on this field, also in local digital platforms and global digital platforms, and because they don't have a job in traditional labor market. This is the crucial reasons.
Okay, thank you very much, Aleksander. Thank you, Matt. Aleksander, there is one question on the chat, and I'll ask you to answer that briefly if you can, because I want to move on to our next speaker. So Sarmite has asked, in your presentation, you mentioned ageism. Could you comment on ageism in platform work? Did you detect any examples, and is it widespread? So a brief response to that would be great.
During my research, I said that yes, I talk about ageism, but well, during research, I think that sorry, there is a lack of study about everything about the position of all the workers and digital platforms, especially in Serbia. So I cannot give you a proper question for this. Only when I get some data about their position, I saw that they earn less than young people. That is what is mentioned in different research. So I cannot give you a precise question, and I did not detect the precise example of this. And thank you for your question.
Super, Aleksander. Thank you very much, and thank you again for a really interesting presentation and comprehensively addressing our questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Delighted to move on to our second speaker, who is Dr. Dolantina Hyka. Dolantina holds a PhD in mathematics with a specialization in cryptography, and she serves as Vice Dean for Academic Affairs at the Mediterranean University of Albania, working on advancing digital security, cryptography, and AI in education. She is a co-project manager for a project on laboratory of artificial intelligence for Albania and Kosovo, and the HeGen AI project, both of which focus on building capabilities and fostering collaboration in AI and digital innovation across Europe. So Dolantina is going to present to us today on the topic of Towards Inclusive Cybersecurity Education, a European Vision. So Dolantina, I don't know if you can share your slides. If you can, it would be better. If not, I can share them and you can ask me to move on when you need to.
Can you see them?
Lovely. We can see your slides, Dolantina. If you can put them in presentation mode, that would be fantastic. And you have 15 minutes and I will give you a 2-minute warning. It's okay if we go a minute or two over, but we'll try and stick to 16, 17 minutes.
I think it's okay now. No.
What we are seeing, we're not seeing the presentation actually.
Entire screen. I'll try to share all the entire screen. Is it okay now?
Yes,
Okay.
that's perfect. If you could just put it in presentation mode rather than screen mode, yeah. So just, yeah, lovely. Thank you.
As you described before, I'm part of several projects, but these international networks have shaped my academic development in meaningful ways. But in particular, this cross-section, DigiNet, has been truly transformative. It has strengthened my research skills, expanded my European network, and exposed me to excellent methodological training. The training school in Krakow, especially, played a crucial role in improving my understanding in comparative resource design, digital inequalities, and the socio-technical dimensions of cybersecurity. And in this presentation, this is built directly on that foundation. I also achieved a virtual mobility grant focuses on cybersecurity awareness among older workers, comparing Italy and Albania. It is part of a long-term effort which we aim to extend in all the Western Balkans, using Italy as a benchmark of EU case. The virtual mobility created a structured collaboration between our university and the Istituto Superiore di Sanità in Italy. Together we explored how digital environments can be made safer and more inclusive for workers aged 50 plus, who often remain on the margins of national digital strategies. The study aligns with European priorities and on digitalization inclusion, lifelong learning, and the protection of vulnerable groups in an increasingly digitalized labor market. We aim to analyze national policies in both countries, identify system-level weakness, and propose evidence-based recommendations. We also worked on a comparative analytical framework, a policy brief, and a co-authored scientific paper. That's for the moment is a draft paper. And beyond the outputs, a key goal has been to strengthen research collaboration across institutions and across countries. We completed the policy review for Italy and Albania, developed our comparative matrix, and drafted the initial sections of the research paper. Because of the data inconsistencies in other countries, we decided to deepen the Italy-Albania comparison first, and this strategic focus has created a strong foundation for the next phase of this project. If we can name it as a project, because we think that we can apply for a new project in that as an Erasmus project in this focus. We established a robust research partnership, drafting the analytical framework and strengthened scientific cooperation between the EU institution and the ITC countries. These achievements contribute directly to DigiNet's mission of reducing digital inequalities across Europe. Workers aged 50 plus often face distinct challenges due to limited training exposures, fear of making mistakes, and lack of institutional support. By comparing Italy and Albania, we highlighted two different policy environments, one mature and structured, the other emerging and fragmented. This contrast helps us understand how national strategies shape practical cybersecurity outcomes. Italy has a comprehensive digital skills strategy that explicitly includes older adults.
Hi, Dolantina. You seem to be on mute at the moment.
Is it okay?
Yes, thank you. We can hear you again. If you can just put your slides in presentation again, that would be great. Thank you.
You
There
have
we go.
list
Yep.
on the slide, or I have to repeat some of them?
Just, I think the last 30 seconds. Yeah, so introduction and study purpose. Thank you.
Okay. So why this study matters, and what we have done as a comparative focus on the European policy relevance. Italy benefits from coordinated national local governance, stable funding, and monitoring mechanisms. In fact, Italy has a comprehensive digital skills strategy that explicitly includes older adults. Workers aged 50 plus often face distinct challenges due to limited training exposures, fear of making mistakes, and a lack of institutional support. By comparing Italy and Albania, we highlighted two different policy environments, one mature and structured, and the other emerging and fragmented. This contrast helps us understand how national strategies shape practical cybersecurity outcomes. Albania, meanwhile, lacks such target provisions. Most programs in Albania are project-based, donor-driven, and lacking long-term community. These differences reveal how policy context influences digital inclusion. Albania also faces institutional fragmentation and limited financial and human resources. Policy maturity directly affects how far cybersecurity training can reach and how effective it can be. Our analysis draws on several theoretical lessons: andragogy, technology acceptance model, a digital divide theory, and socio-technical system theory. Together, these frameworks allow a deeper understanding of behavioral patterns among older workers. We employed a comparative case study approach anchored in policy document analysis, desk research, and cross-community expert validation. Our political structure, our analytical structure is based on four pillars: policy maturity, inclusiveness, implementation capacity, awareness outcome. And this framework will also guide the next phase of the study across the Western Balkans. Italy adopts a high structured approach: community digital hubs, scenario-based training, intergenerational mentoring, sustainable policy support, national strategies. These elements create a low-pressure learning environment that builds digital confidence and practical cybersecurity awareness. In Albania, the lack of target policy leads to fragmented initiatives. Older adults rely heavily on family members or younger colleagues. University-led training is promising, but inconsistent funding and lack of national coordination reduce scalability. The result is uneven and limited cybersecurity awareness. Italy offers structured, scalable, monitored programs. Albania offers localized short-term interventions without continuity. Understanding these differences helps us identify what could be adapted or transferred to other Western Balkan countries. Older workers frequently face fear of making mistakes, low digital confidence, lack of institutional support, fragmented ecosystem of learning, and these barriers highlight why age-sensitive, supportive cybersecurity education is essential. We recommend four areas of action: recognizing older adults, explicitly in national digital and cybersecurity strategies, developing age-sensitive training that prioritizes simplicity, relevance, and hands-on learning, promoting intergenerational mentoring, establishing multi-sector partnership with clear monitoring mechanisms. Together, these recommendations can significantly enhance digital resilience. To conclude, cybersecurity for older workers is not only a technical concern, it is a matter of digital equity, autonomy, and dignity. Italy serves as a valuable model, while Albania represents a context with a substantial potential of improvement. This project is ongoing, and the next phase expands the analysis to Western Balkan countries using Italy as a benchmark EU case. This regional comparison will allow us to better understand structural patterns and identify scalable policy solutions. We have developed a new empirical questionnaire designed specifically for workers aged 50 plus. It measures digital confidence, cybersecurity behaviors, exposures to risks, and training needs. Our plan is to administer it across several Western Balkan countries and in Italy. This will provide a comparative dataset between a transforming region and a mature EU policy. Fragmented ecosystem of learning, and I think that if someone is really interested maybe in this field or in this mini project, if I can uh, name it like that, we can collaborate in going on with this project as a much more bigger than just virtual mobility or a research paper. And I have some questions, not only for this webinar, but even for those that will see it in other channels. What does cybersecurity mean for aging workers? How can mentoring bridge the digital divide? Who is responsible for inclusive training, and what strategies would work in your country? Thank you very much for your attention. I will welcome all questions, collaborations, and ideas as we expand this research across the region. And I want to really thank you all and the Dr. Bridget Tunim that has accepted to collaborate with me.
Great. Dolantina, thank you very much for an excellent presentation. And this is a really good example of the kind of excellent work that can be done through our DigiNet cost action, through our virtual mobility opportunities that arise. So I think we'll take some questions first, and then I think if anyone is interested in finding out more or collaborating with Dolantina, perhaps you might put your email address in the chat function, and Aleksander, perhaps you might do the same as well, please, if colleagues would like to get in touch.
Of course. I'll met even the link of the questionnaire. If someone can fill it, it will be great.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dolantina. So have we any questions for Dolantina on her excellent presentation? Matt, you have a question.
Thank you. It's really interesting presentation, quite a topical issue. You asked the question about what approaches are in different countries. When it comes to the UK, it's cybersecurity in work is primarily the responsibility of the employer, because the employer wants to make sure that their data is being used in the correct way and their communications are being communication networks are being used properly as well. When it comes to training, especially for basic skills, and probably cybersecurity falls under this because you need to have certain skills in order to avoid risks, being getting an email from from a crown prince from some other country offering $3 million if you give your mother's maiden name and social security number. Those basic skills are primarily delivered by a mix of community organizations, sometimes trade unions, and third sector bodies, and they're funded by the government because it's considered a public policy imperative that everybody has basic skills so that they can use digital technology in their everyday life. So it's kind of the same way that you described Albania. It is kind of a patchwork of approaches that are taken to this particular issue. But I'd be very interested to see how your further research and expanding the field to see how these issues are addressed in other countries, what the outcomes are of that.
Thank you very much, Matt. And I think if any colleagues are interested in collaborating, Dolantina has put both her email address and the link to the survey in the chat function. So please do get in touch with her. There's Randveig. Would you like to mention the comment that you have, or I'm happy to read it out if you prefer.
Sure. Hi. I can probably just read it for them. I just wanted to thank you, Dolantina, for your presentation. Here in Iceland, I controlled and organized an intergenerational project where students were teaching older people how to use the tablets and iPhones, just phones. And I relate to so much that you were talking about in your presentation. We have a very serious and big need to teach and support, especially older people, but also I myself, I am 46, and I can see and hear from a lot of people around my age that they don't feel, like that they understand the technology. It's moving so fast. So it's basically just for, people we need to teach and be alert. So thank you. This was very, very good. I was very happy with that.
Thank you, too.
Thank you very much, Ranveig. Thank you for that observation. Have we any other questions for Dolantina? I have a question, Dolantina, if you don't mind. So can I ask why you chose Italy as a comparative analysis in the first place? And then I note that you will be expanding this to Western Balkans. And I'm just wondering, do you have any concerns about challenges in actually collecting the data?
Yeah, I wanted to make a comparison with in Western Balkan countries and European countries. I just chose Italy as random because of the Dr. Yunim, that I know her. But it was the same if I would choose any other country. I said I want to expand this as a project, as Erasmus for Horizon project. So there are some key studies for the moment.
Great. Thank you very much, Dolantina. Do we have any more questions for Dolantina? Okay, perfect. So thank you very much, Dolantina and Aleksander, for your excellent presentations. They have put their email addresses in the chat function if anyone would like to ask further questions offline or chat with them. So we may move on. Matt has a slide or two, I think, on a human relations special issue that DigiNet partners are proposing.
All right. Thank you so much, Maeve. And thank you, everybody, for coming today. This is an excellent turnout. I think it's the biggest group that we've had in the DigiNet seminar series. One of the aims of the seminar series, which I think we've been able to accomplish, is bringing together people from really all, not just across Europe, but really all over the world to talk about this, the subject of digitalization and how it might affect not just older workers, but it might create some inequalities in terms both between older people and younger people, but also within the older population. This, of course, is the overall aim of the DigiNet Cost Action Program. And the next stage of this is to put together a special issue to bring together literature in this field. So a couple of us within DigiNet have come together to develop a special issue proposal for human relations. And as Maeve has mentioned, this is a 4-star ABS publication, which is focused on the sociology of work and employment. They have put out a call for special issue proposals with the deadline at the end of the year. And we're putting together a proposal which parallels the DigiNet program. So the overall theme is on digitalization and age inequalities. And the pitch that we're making to them is that there's a whole bunch of literature around digitalization out there. And a lot of this is focused on the latest technology, on AI, how it affects people in work, how it affects people in terms of social networks and so forth. And there's a whole bunch of literature out there when it comes to aging as well, aging in the workplace, aging in terms of one's health, one's well-being, and so forth. And we're proposing to bring these two together in the same way that Martina and Iris and Pesha and all of us within the DigiNet community have promoted the cost action, this cost action program. So we have a draft proposal for the special issue. We're focused on the literature around gerontology and digitalization, looking at how aging might intersect with other characteristics to create intersectional forms of inequality, looking at the public policy implications, the social policy implications, and the implications for organizations. And one of the takeaways from both presentations today is that there's a lot of crossover between those as well. You know, to have good public policy in place, you have to have organizations on board who play their role in ensuring that they're implemented in order for organizations to have age-inclusive policies to support their older workers. They also need to have the public policy backing them up to support them so that they're not undermined by the cowboys out there. And the structure of the proposal is in line with the DigiNet program as well. So we asked some questions around how digitalization might affect older people when it comes to work and employment opportunity, how it might affect them when it comes to access to healthcare and social care, the public and social policy implications, and what older people themselves think about digitalization and their motivations for either using the latest technology or finding ways around that. So there are three things that we need from everybody in the call today. One is that we need some critical friends to look at the special issue proposal and to maybe give some advice and feedback on this. We're taking an inclusive and democratic approach to developing the special issue. Two, one of the things that we have to do that we still have to write up is a dissemination and outreach strategy. So we've got that partially, in fact, taken quite a long way in accomplishing that through the DigiNet network itself. So we present the DigiNet network as a network of hundreds of academics from across Europe, from a wide range of disciplines, who are all ready and eager to propose papers to this. But we have to also look beyond DigiNet and how we might be able to reach academics in the fields that we're in which we're hoping to get papers from. How do we engage them? And then we also need to propose reviewers for the special issue. So once we get these excellent articles coming through, having reviewers available who might have the time to read through the papers and make recommendations for selection. So the one message to come today is to support the bid. Of course, it's not in the bag. We still have to submit the proposal, but I think with the support of everybody in the call today, as well as the extended DigiNet network, we have the backing to make a really strong bid to them. And if you have any questions about it, or if you'd like to contribute, like to have a look at the proposal, just drop me an email, matthew.flynn@leicester.ac.uk.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Matt. Do you have a deadline for people to get in touch with you or to express an interest in getting involved?
It's a good question. So we need to put the proposal in by the end of the year. So within the next week or so, if you can drop an email, if you have time to have a look at the special issue proposal, it's only about, I think about 6 or 7 A4 sides long, and provide feedback. I very much welcome that. So maybe within a week or so, it'd be great to hear from you.
Great, thank you.
Nasha?
Yeah.
I think has a question. Yeah.
Yep, Nadia.
Hello. First
Hi.
of all, thank you very much for the interesting presentations and for this proposal as well. I'm working on it. I also filled out the form you provided, I think, if I were going to participate in it, but I didn't receive the answer on it. So it's just because of the fact that you wanted from us to know either we are going to make something or like we will gonna receive an answer if we can continue this direction or
I
something
apologize
else.
for that. I did ask for ideas for papers that might come from this. And what we've done, in fact, I'll send you a copy of the proposal. Be interested to get your feedback from this. We wanted to, when we proposed the sub-themes around work, health and social care, public policy, and so forth, we also need to propose a couple of questions that would be answered from papers that come through. And of course, we want to have some confidence that the questions that we're asking are going to be answered by the papers. So we asked for some proposals for ideas of some papers that you're working on now, so that we had a good confidence with that. So I'll send you a copy of. First of all, I apologize for not emailing you back when you sent it through. But I'll send you a copy of this. If the questions align with a paper that you're proposing, then that's wonderful. If you have some suggestions on other questions that we could ask, I'd welcome that as well.
Okay, thank you very much. I will gonna wait from you the answer as well, right?
Okay, thank you.
Goodbye.
Gabriella?
Hello. I want to ask, so if I understand correctly, you prepare now the call for this special issue. Okay. Next step, you send us the call.
Next step is we have to get Human Relations to give the thumbs up and say that they've accepted it. Yeah.
And after this, you expect to receive the article, or the abstract. First the abstract, and after this the article, full article, or what is the I don't know, the stage, the steps?
So the proposal to Human Relations needs to be submitted by the end of the year. They'll take a couple of months to review the proposals, but of course it's a very competitive process as well. We have no guarantee that it could that it'll be accepted. Of course, if it isn't accepted, we can maybe look to the special issue for something else. That's the world that we live in academia. Probably sometime mid-year, we'll have an answer from Human Relations. If it is accepted, then most likely from the second half of 2026 into 2027, we would have a call for papers that would go out. Now, you may raise an interesting question there about the process. If we are successful, what would be the best approach for the call for papers? And I think the suggestion that you make is actually quite a good one, to have abstracts initially sent in, and maybe have some workshops, some discussions, and so forth, so that people can develop their proposals in a collaborative and inclusive way. Now, I mentioned that because there's another special issue for Frontiers in Psychology, which Petya and I are co-editing, and that's the process that we're doing with that. And Frontiers is quite happy with that proposal. So you send your abstract in, we have a look at them. We pretty much bring in everybody whose ideas fits within the overall remit of the special issue. And we maybe have a couple of workshops, we have some, maybe even some mentoring and so forth, so that people can develop their ideas and put in a really strong 4-star paper once the deadline is for the for the submission. And I think this is particularly a good approach when it comes to supporting early career researchers as well, maybe having somebody who has some experience with human relations supporting them so that they get a good bid. Of course, there is a competitive element to this, but I like the more collaborative and inclusive approach to this as well. And I think the balance between the two might be accomplished by what you suggest.
Yes, and from my experience, I know in cost associations, there are some rules. For example, when you send a call for paper in our group, in a cost action, I'm not very sure if we need to respect this rule. Three member from 3 different countries. I'm not very sure, but it's important to know, because in time we can prepare the team, for example, and discuss with colleagues to prepare a proposal, an abstract, and after this an article. So I'm not very sure if we respect these rules. I'm not sure. What do you know about this?
Is Martina still online? As I understand, you're right about that. In order for the paper to be counted
exactly
as a cost action paper, it needs to have a number of
because this core paper is in cost action project. It's supported by cost action project. So I know you need to respect some rules in for this, and I'm not very sure what is these rules, and if you can explain to prepare in the future, because I'm very sure it will be a success your proposal.
Yeah, so you want to have the maximum number of papers coming from the cost action program. Of course, we have to have a cast a wide net in terms of the call for paper. It can't just be through DigiNet. We have to put out the call to others as well, and that's perfectly fine. But it would make sense, of course, to encourage people who are developing papers, who would be developing papers for the human relations issue, to consider ways in which they can make sure that their paper proposal also conforms, can be counted as a DigiNet publication as well. And if that is, for example, I've got some data on older workers in the UK, and somebody else has in another. Why not just work together on it? Yeah, and I think because the publication date would be sometime in 2028, there's enough time that people would be able to. They don't have to have a done and dusted paper already for for publication. They can develop something over a little longer period of time.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Gabriella and Matt. That's great. So just conscious of time, Dolantina and Aleksander, would you be happy for us to share your slides with the participants from today's webinar?
Okay, I will send you by email.
Perfect.
Okay, I'll send you.
Are you happy also, Dolantina?
Yes, of course, I will send you.
You have sent me already, so thank you very much. So just to wrap up, we will send slides to those who attended the meeting. I want to warmly congratulate Aleksander and Dolantina for 2 excellent presentations. I want to thank Matt very much for organizing the invitation and the webinar link and all of the communication. And a particular thanks to our DigiNet manager, Iris Finger, who really pushed and publicized this webinar. As Matt said, we had 21 people on the webinar, which is really excellent. And just to say that Working Group 2 and Working Group 5 collaborate on webinars. We'll try and revive them. They went to sleep a little bit. We'll get them back again, and we really would encourage those of you who have some presentations or in fact some maybe papers that you want to develop further, please let us know and we will include you in the list. So please contact either Matt or myself. So just in a wrap up, thank you very much again for joining. Thank you to everybody who made this happen and to our 2 excellent speakers. We learned so much today. So thank you very much, folks. And if I may wish you a happy Christmas or happy holidays in the next few weeks. So take care and thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.